As you proceed through the material, remember that it's a good idea to take notes. Key in on the main concepts of an issue. Pay attention to the highlighted and bolded text, and make sure you're comfortable with the information you've learned. This lesson dealt with the basics of life insurance and gave you the initial terminology needed to proceed in the course. You can make the underwriter's task much easier by understanding what's expected of you when you interview potential clients and fill out applications. This will help to ensure that the process of getting a policy issued is properly done. It's also your responsibility to make sure that the consumer understands the product you're selling, that the policy is suitable for their needs, and that the required disclosures and documentations are provided. The material included important information about both individual and group coverage, which will be discussed in depth in later lessons. Business uses of life insurance was also detailed, and you learned how these kinds of policies can literally save a company from being forced to close if an owner or key person dies. In the discussion of premiums, you learned there are many ways to pay the premiums on a life insurance policy. Premium payment modes showed you that depending on the way a policy owner pays a premium, there are lesser and more expensive ways of paying for the policy. We explored the different pieces of the puzzle that must be put together in order to obtain coverage for your clients. There are informed consent documents that must be completed, and you must stay aware of privacy and discrimination concerns over application information and questions. There are also receipts that must be given to the applicant at specific points in time. We also paid particular attention to issues surrounding replacement of an existing policy and how doing so may not be in the best interest of the consumer. There were also educational requirements relating to protections for the consumer. For those who will be selling annuities, you learned about the annuity suitability training requirements and how the Model Act is intended to hold producers and insurers responsible for improper annuity sales. In that vein, we also looked at variable insurance policies and annuities in terms of licensing requirements for producers selling those products. Remember that this information can be a big part of your state examination, so please make sure to take time to learn it well. It's also a good idea to take a look at the content bulletin we brought up at the beginning of the lesson to compare what you remember from the material to what the state exam is expecting from you. A good theory as you're using the content outline in your studies is to look at the items that are listed on the outline and see if you can recite the who, what, when, where, why, and how of a concept or issue. If you can do this with each item on the content bulletin, you're going to pass. Let us know if there's anything you need.